Phineas and Ferb's very first episode isn't just strange, it might be the key to everything. The show never explains. It's the most ignored episode of the series and also the most important. Why does it start with a fourth wall break, a title sequence joke, and zero setup? Why does Candace unravel so fast while the adults never even blink? And why does this episode quietly introduce rules that rewrite reality itself? This isn't just a fun pilot. It's a blueprint for the entire show, one that hides something deeper behind every joke. Let's break down the episode no one understands, and what it reveals might just change how you see the whole show. Number 1. The day Summer lost all logic. From the very first frame, this episode sets the tone. Chaos is normal. Phineas and Ferb aren't introduced through exposition. They're dropped into the middle of their own title sequence. Candace screams, "Mom!" Phineas and Ferb are making a title sequence. And just like that, the fourth wall is shattered. We're not watching a story unfold. We're watching characters realize they're in a story, and they're using that to their advantage. This isn't a normal first episode. There's no setup, no meet the characters. Just Phineas bored out of his mind, casually deciding to build a roller coaster in his backyard. And that choice? It breaks every rule we've been trained to expect. They don't ask for help. They don't question whether it's possible. They simply do it as if dreaming it makes it real. Because in this world, it kind of does. Number 2. Candace's descent begins. Before long, it's clear Candace isn't just a side character. She's the lens through which reality is supposed to make sense. She's left in charge, conditionally, and immediately throws herself into the role of watchdog. She's not mean. She's just trying to be the adult in the room, the one who's doing the right thing. But that role slowly eats her alive. She's not battling brothers, she's battling a world that refuses to follow rules. Every time she points at the impossible, it disappears. Every time she thinks she'll win, the universe resets itself. It's funny on the surface, but think about it. How terrifying would it be to live in a world where reality erases itself every time you try to prove it? This episode doesn't treat Candace as a joke. It treats her like a tragedy. The roller coaster doesn't break her spirit. Not being believed does. Number 3. A roller coaster. Through sanity. The coaster itself is pure absurdity. Snakes, mall parking lots, loops over the freeway, but none of it is presented as impossible. The animation makes the ride exhilarating. The logic? Irrelevant. Because the point isn't the ride. It's what the ride means. The roller coaster is Phineas and Ferb's answer to boredom, but more than that, it's a metaphor for boundless creativity. For what happens when no one says no? When imagination is the only law that matters. Every detail, the launch, the corkscrew, even the waiver joke, feels like a flex. A statement. This show will not play by traditional rules. And in a world that does play by rules, Candace's world, that's terrifying. Number 4. Perry the Platypus and the Secret War. While the kids build fantasy in the backyard, another story quietly runs in parallel. Perry the Platypus is a pet, quiet, harmless, invisible, until he isn't. Suddenly, he's a super spy, dropping into a secret lair to stop an evil scientist who's trying to reverse the Earth's rotation using tinfoil. And the scary part? It almost works. Dr. Doofenshmirtz's plan doesn't make sense, but neither does the roller coaster. In fact, both plots are mirrors of each other. Science stretched to absurdity, executed with cartoon logic. This tells us something vital. Phineas and Ferb is not grounded in the real world. It's grounded in metaphor, in themes, in dualities, joy versus order, chaos versus control, creativity versus structure, Candace versus Phineas, Perry versus Doofenshmirtz. It's the same story, told twice. Number 5. The invisible reset button. Every time Candace tries to expose the truth, the world erases her proof. The roller coaster disappears. The evidence vanishes. And her mom? She never believes a word of it. At first glance, it's a running gag. But it's deeper than that. It's a metaphor for every kid who felt unheard. Every teen who tried to explain something real only to be dismissed as overreacting. This is not a villain's journey. It's a cry for help. And no one listens. It would be one thing if the ride got destroyed, or if mom saw it and laughed. But it's like the universe wants Candace to stay frustrated. She's not just comic relief. She's a symbol of how hard it is to be a kid who's too old to play, but too young to be taken seriously. Number 6. The real superpower isn't the ride. What makes Phineas and Ferb powerful isn't just that they're smart, it's that they have permission. They're allowed to imagine, to build, to take risks without fear of failure or punishment. They don't wait for approval. They don't ask for directions. And somehow the world doesn't push back. Their blueprints are scribbled in crayon, yet city officials sign off. Their roller coaster defies physics, yet no one demands an explanation. Other kids cheer them on. Adults are impressed. Even when Candace tries to intervene, the universe itself seems to protect their ideas. Phineas and Ferb live in a world where creativity is never questioned, where wonder isn't just allowed, it's encouraged. And that might be the show's most radical idea of all. Compare that to Candace, who's punished for telling the truth. In this episode, the superpower isn't intelligence, it's a belief. And Candace? She believes in the wrong thing. She believes in rules. Number 7, the ending that tells you everything. By the end of the episode, the roller coaster is gone. The backyard is normal. Phineas and Ferb sit under their tree like nothing happened. And Candace? She's been humiliated. Again. But the audience knows the truth. We saw it. The ride happened. The kids flew through a mall parking lot. Snakes were launched. The show gaslights its own characters, but never its viewers, which means you're in on it. The show trusts you to know the difference between what's shown and what's said. That's not comedy. That's a quiet kind of brilliance. It ends like nothing happened, but you feel it did. And that tension between reality and memory is what keeps you watching, again and again. Number 8, a birthday built on disbelief. In the very next episode, the cycle doesn't just repeat, it deepens. Phineas and Ferb build an entire monument-sized gift at Mount Rushmore for Candace's birthday. It's enormous, thoughtful, and breathtaking. For once, Candace doesn't want to bust them. She's not angry. She's not jealous. This time, she just wants to share the moment to show her mom something incredible that was made for her. It should have been her victory, her validation, but by the time she convinces mom to look, the monument is gone, erased, as if it never existed. And what makes it worse? This wasn't about catching them in trouble. It was about finally being seen. And once again, reality bends just enough to leave her standing there, with nothing to prove it happened. And that's the heartbreaking thing. Even when it's for her, even when it's kind, the universe still won't let her win. The gift is real, the love is real, but the world makes her doubt it anyway. And somehow that's even sadder than her being ignored. Number 9. So, what is this episode really about? Roller Coaster isn't just a pilot, it's a thesis. It tells you, without saying it directly, that this show will operate on cartoon logic but deliver real emotions. That it will use gags to explore grief. That it will bury meaning beneath jokes and trust you to dig it up. It's about the power of creativity in a structured world, the pain of being unheard when you know you're right, the strange, lonely space between childhood freedom and teenage pressure. But most of all, it's about one question. What happens when you're the only one who remembers what really happened? Number 10, a show that knew its audience was smarter than it looked. When Phineas and Ferb aired in 2007, no one expected much. Another Disney Channel cartoon, another summer series. But hidden inside its first 11 minutes was something brilliant, a model for surrealism, for emotional realism, for layered storytelling that didn't need to be serious to be smart. Roller Coaster isn't flashy. It doesn't tug on your heartstrings like Get Busted, but it sets the rules of a world that will consistently break them. And if you weren't paying attention, you missed one of the boldest openings in animated TV history, because this wasn't just a cartoon. It was a coded message to every kid who ever felt invisible. Every teen wondered why no one believed them. So what do you think? Fun pilot or hidden metaphor? Is Candace the villain or the only one who sees the truth? Let us know below. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more deep dives. And if you ever build a roller coaster in your backyard, just make sure someone believes you.